You guys knew this was coming. We love covering Koumei on this channel, and this was a very sought after augment that a lot of you guys said you're really excited for, and that is Omikuji's Fortune. What this augment does is it allows Koumei to reduce the cooldown of her decrees by 4 seconds each time she gets a kill with a weapon that is affected by her passive. Koumei's passive allows her weapons to receive a random elemental status effect, and this rotates between her weapons every minute. You can see the icon in your bottom right. So everyone has the icon, you want to use that until your cooldown of your decrees has gone down to 0. So what this allows you to do is to take Koumei's endless mission style of play, and that way get more decrees at a faster rate in those shorter missions, so you feel more powerful more soon. Technically just making her better across the board outside of stuff like long survivals and defense missions. Endless has always been where she thrived, and a lot of people don't like her because of that. And then there's idiots like me who absolutely love her, purely based on the fact that Endless is enjoyable to us. So you're probably all wondering, how fast is this thing really? Let's just say you are really on form with getting your decree challenges done. Let's say you're getting them done every minute on average, and it'll take you definitely less than a minute to get this cooldown reduced by using the designated weapon at that moment. On average, you can definitely get a decree every 1 to 3 minutes now with this augment, which is way more reliable, as previously the maximum cooldown length is 150 seconds. But now, regardless of whether you cancel a challenge or complete a challenge, that 150 second cooldown is going to get reduced significantly, and within an hour of a survival I had 43 total decrees. That may not sound like much, but it really is, especially when you consider that she has 250 available, and not all of those are individual specific decrees. Those are of course stacking decrees, so a lot of the same ones just with higher stats. And traditionally most people, if they dabble in an endless mission, probably won't go over an hour, and I believe around the 30-minute mark I had definitely over 20. This is far more than you'd normally have, although the augment mainly makes it useful so you can pick and choose your challenges and which ones you do and don't want to do, reducing the cooldown when it's much longer. Do I think this augment is going to put players that don't like Koumei's endless playstyle onto the map? Probably not. I think it's definitely better, and if you are going to try Koumei and you want to play shorter missions, I would recommend it, but at the same time I feel strongly that Koumei, especially when you build her for Sickening Pulse, is a really good Warframe even at just base Still Path level. A combination of Sickening Pulse and her 4 and her 1 is more than enough to absolutely decimate anything that comes your way in most non-endless Still Path missions anyway, so whether or not you keep the decrees on will affect how good this Warframe is in shorter missions. But if you really want to keep the decrees, I would recommend this mod, but I don't think it's as efficient as a lot of people may be hoping. As for a build demonstration, I've got something a little bit different this time. We are going to go with no helmet, so you can see how a base kit would function with this augment, and we're also going to opt for something a little less level cap, I guess, when it comes to modding her survivability, because normally we just go with a bunch of shield regen mods, which is really viable, but in a build like this I think we can be way more flexible. So there's a lot going on with this build. First off, you'll see Adaptation, Arcane Guardian, Archon Vitality, Mecha Empowered, and Mecha Pulse. And these are of course all combining with our third ability, Omimori, which will give you heals 50% of the time that you take damage. We're using the full mecha set here, so we're doing a large amount of status damage across the board every time our companion marks an enemy, and Mecha Pulse is giving us a shit ton of armor because of this, which is stacking with Guardian. Archon Vitality not only for the HP, but so we get double procs on our fire, which we will be proccing with our 4 and our 1. Archon Stretch, of course, range, stacking with Augur Reach, so we can hit a lot of enemies, get those long range challenges done, and of course we get the energy regen. Archon Continuity, these mods are of course no-brainers on her, and then Transient Fortitude is optional, but it's a bit more strength, and Arcane Impetus for even more strength and ability efficiency. And Prime Sure-Footed is also here, just because we're not always going to have the decree that gives us knockdown resistance, so I find this pretty important. And to quickly show you the 2 mods that you need to complete the mecha set, you require Mecha Recharge, which is here, and then we have Mecha Overdrive on our companion's melee. So yeah, this build is more catered towards shorter missions and lower level stuff where you're not staying in a mission for an extended period of time, going up against enemies that would one-shot you or you need to shield get against, just because this Omikuji Fortune augment is catering towards that playstyle, so we can get away with a bit more of a health tank build, boosting our armor with the Mecha Empowered set, making use of Archon Vitality and Omimori. And because of the Mecha Empowered set bonus, we can actually get a lot of damage off just with our 4 and our 1 Koumei Himo, even without Pulse. If you're curious on the weapons that I was using and the gameplay in the background, we'll quickly cover these because I'm aware that some of you guys will be asking. First off, we're using the Incarnate Felox. This goes really nicely with Koumei's decrees that increase your fire rate accumulatively, because this is one of the few weapons that can work with primary crux to get 100% ammo efficiency, basically giving you an infinite mag. If we look at the evolutions here, we have negative weapon recoil, reload increased fire rate by 10% per shell, 10% crit chance and status chance on punch through 3 enemies, getting that huge bonus 70% ammo efficiency for 20 seconds, which is stacking with, of course, primary crux, which will give us even more ammo efficiency and status chance on those weak point hits, making this thing fire infinitely, constantly scale its fire rate. You can see from the gameplay the recoil gets so high because I'm just blitzing through enemies with a fully automatic shotgun with an insane fire rate. If you're curious on my Riven, it is not really that special, just a bit of fire status and damage. This weapon pairs really well with Koumei. We're also using the brand new Coda Catabolist, I think is how you say it, and for once, because the build isn't catered towards going endless, or at least going all the way to lava cap and stuff, we're for once not using secondary fortifier for all of that overguard on our Koumei, and instead I went on my way to get some secondary innovate because you guys were telling me how good this was on this weapon courtesy of the previous video, and you guys are right. This is really good on this weapon, makes it way stronger. I'll be honest, the only reason I didn't have this prior is because I thought this was like a really expensive arcane, and it turns out it just isn't, so I bit the bullet, got it now, and yeah, this thing is amazing on Koumei. And to be honest, if you still wanted to run with secondary fortifier, it's a beam weapon, so it's perfect for that as well. And then to make up for the previous video, I have to give the Coda Maya some justice at least. Here is a melee influence setup. You can run gas and electric on it if it has base heat, which this week it did. And with melee influence, it is very good as expected, but also when you're proccing enemies with influence in gas electric, you can also make way better use of the slam attacks. The toxin slam effect is really strong. This is how you're going to get a lot of your kills, and I'll be honest, this weapon is super fun when built like this. And yes, I'm aware you can also build it purely for afflictions and slams. I have seen that setup, it is incredible, but I'm not really big on slams all too often. Not my favourite playstyle, at least only spamming slam attacks. And finally, my Archon shards, much like the previous Koumei videos, are the exact same. We have 3 Tau Forged purples for our mini equilibrium. This is mainly for shorter missions once again. And then we have Tau Forged amber for that casting speed. So a bit of a shorter video today, and that's mainly just because it's only on such a simple augment. But do I think it's worth it? I don't know, it really depends on your playstyle. It's kind of a tough one for me. I don't think it was as quick to get my decrees with this augment than I thought. For everyone in the comments that is trying this augment on Koumei who doesn't previously enjoy her for the fact that she's mainly good in endless, let me know what you think of whether or not this is actually going to get you to play her. Luckily her builds are super flexible anyway, she doesn't really ask for a lot, so maybe I probably will squeeze it into every one just so I can get those decrees quicker. But for the most part, I think it's a solid augment, and all people trying to get into Koumei should definitely get it. I appreciate you guys for watching as always. Thank you for the support, especially on all of the recent videos you guys are popping off. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.